I'm Kendall Rawls with the Rawls Group, and I'm here to welcome you to our discussion. Consider us your tribe of sorts, where we chat about all things related pretty much to anything. As your tribe, we provide 5 different perspectives from our unique view of the world. We are pioneers, trailblazers, go-getters, power professionals, marvelous moms, friends, dog lovers, and so much more. Our discussions span from leadership, business, relationships, and personal growth, and everything in between. Here we go.
Welcome back, everyone. Brigitte Höfele here with the Tribe. Have you ever felt like not doing something, but it needs to be done no matter what? And you have the hardest time getting motivated, or you have the hardest time getting yourself disciplined enough to go and do it, or maybe you just don't feel well, right? We're going through a time right now where I'm just going to call it the crud is going around, and you have it and you just don't, some things just need to get done. Like the dog just needs to get fed, or the teeth just need to be brushed, or something small even. And it takes every fiber within you to actually get the energy up to go do it. Have you guys ever felt that way?
Absolutely.
So then the question is, how do you do it? Kendall.
Oh man, how do I do it? Music is a big thing for me. I have a playlist or a go-to artist based upon what I'm trying to get motivated to do. Missy Elliott Sierra is my Pandora channel for working out or going on a power walk. What I like to call 1980s style power walk, or if I just need to get pumped up. Mogwai Pandora station is my writing station. It just has a whole bunch of different sounds and noises. It just gets my brain moving. If those aren't working, then I go for a walk. If those aren't working, then maybe I will stare out the window and then I'll just pump myself up. I would say those are my go-to tricks. And sometimes if those aren't working, then I go, okay, maybe you just need to take a nap. Maybe you just need to lay down on your back on a bolster and just take 5 minutes, because the body and the mind is telling you something. And so I go through my checklist and see which one works.
My eyes are about ready to fall out of my head because there was a task that I knew needed to be done. And I knew there was a lot of moving parts, and I waited and started finishing it up around midnight last night. And then was working on it very early this morning when a whole bunch of other moving parts of this document started to change. And I knew this was going to happen. I'll tell you, I got unmotivated because I took something personal, even though I knew logically that it had nothing to do with me. However, it just felt icky because I'm a feeler. I feel things. And even though I really did know it had nothing to do with me, I just waited till the last minute to do it. And literally my eyes were burning out of my head to get the task done. And I had to stop because I chose to and look at, why do I just not want to do this? And then I realized that I was taking it personally. And it had nothing to do with me and everything to do with the flow of what we were doing. And I am not in charge. I am just working with a group of people, and it's all good. And then when I started to do it and I put it all together and everything shifted again and we changed it, it went in total flow when I let go of the fact that nothing has meaning but the meaning I give it. Mm. And it had nothing to do with me. Nothing is personal. Nothing is personal. And then I just laughed at myself, got in total flow, made an amazing agreement. However, that lacking in getting myself motivated, look at my eyes are burning out of my head. And it's all good.
It's the awareness that got you there. When you became aware of what's getting in the way, and sometimes the awareness, like Kendall said earlier, the awareness of my body needs rest can get in the way until you give it And then you, like you said, lay on a bolster for 5 minutes or put your legs up on a wall and meditate for 5 minutes or whatever it is that you need to do. But I think the key, what you just said, Jeannie, is becoming aware of what's the speed bump here. Mm-hmm. Let's look at it, because too many people are driving against the speed bump over and over again when they're not looking at it. It's just kind of in the way. They get annoyed at it rather than just stopping for a minute and going, okay, so what is it? Cindy, you're laughing.
Well, I'm laughing because it's so true. I mean, if you look at what's really causing us to, for example, right now, I'm feeling really tired. I flew all day yesterday, got home late last night, and I know my body wants rest. And I have a list of things that I'm getting accomplished right now. And as soon as that's finished, I get to go back to bed. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I know that tomorrow's another day, and I'll be able to wake up and feel fantastic and get into it and work with great vim and vigor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. It was the first work week after Christmas and the holidays. I had the best, to me, it was the best week. I woke up at 5 a.m. Without an alarm clock. I drank some coffee. I did some journaling. I worked out early in the morning. I got so much done, but it was it was in a flow way, not in a way where I was pushing myself to do stuff. And it really is, whenever I think about what is my best day, if I can reproduce that every day, it would be magical. And I began to give myself pressure of, I want to reproduce this the next day. And then I had to tell myself, because I've done this many times, that Kendall, you got to give yourself space. If you force it, you're not going to fall asleep well. You're not going to sleep well. Then you're going to wake up late and you're going to be grumpy. So, and I practiced it very well that week. Whatever happened. Then last week happened, and I wasn't feeling well. The weather started getting colder. I couldn't wake up, and come to find out I was getting sick. So I think there's also something to what I've learned in that, what I've been trying to practice is balancing the feeling of being disciplined to get stuff done, and also the feeling of flow, and where is my mind and my body able to create in that moment. Because as whatever we're doing that day, whether it's working or working out or problem solving, we're creative beings. And so if we're not able to give ourselves just a little bit of space to be creative and find that flow, then we do feel, at least I feel, that we become a robot, which there's no fun in being in a robot mode. We may get a lot of stuff done, but then at the end of the day, you're just like this taskmaster. So I think a lot of it is, and it's hard to find what that balance is, the balance between grace and discipline.
For myself, I look at my goals because that, that is a motivator for me. Looking at my goals, a lot of my goals incorporate other people's goals. So it's very supportive in a servant leadership way. However, when I know I have to get GSD, and I know I have to get stuff done, my calendar is broken down. People are like, holy cow, it's like ADD. I do everything in half-hour increments. Even if it's something that's a 4-hour task, I only attack it a half hour at a time. Everything's half hour, and then I go get up and walk and do something or whatever, go back. And that half-hour increment really helps me get things done and stay focused and on task without feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to sit here for 4 hours because I have to get this thing done. That is just for me. I know it sounds like I have ADD or something, which is okay. I just feel that is a good rhythm for me because it keeps my blood flowing too, and it helps me be more creative. So that's just a trick I use for myself.
I like that trick, Jeannie. And I read, and I keep stumbling over this, and I can't remember the quote verbatim, but something like, discipline kicks in when motivation has left the room. And I think discipline is something that doesn't come overnight. Like you said, Kendall, it's, so how am I doing this? There's a clue in there. There's a pattern in there that can be reproduced. But what are all of the elements, and are all the elements and all the resources in place in order to reproduce that pattern? Is the weather the same? Is your health the same? Are the tasks the same or similar, right? Sometimes we have tasks where you're like, it's not just up to you to finish that task. It's up to maybe other team members or a client that needs to get back to you. So there's so many different factors that we also got to factor in and give ourselves some grace of, okay, so it's not all up to me. I cannot just go through my list and, check to get it done. Often there are factors in there that we just have no control over. And then, to go back to what Cindy said in another episode, allow ourselves to be and look at that being part within that discipline. Because I think as businesswomen, we all have that discipline. And sometimes we want to, I'm only speaking from my own experience. Sometimes I want to discipline my client, or I want to discipline the person, that the team member, or the staff member, the family member. I want to discipline them too, but I can't. It's out of my control.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we talked about this in another episode too. It's that goal. I mean, and knowing what, maybe it's the goal, and then the feeling or the emotion or the outcome after you do that one thing. So a common thing that a lot of people talk about is getting in shape, and I don't want to get up to run, or I don't want to do this. And many days I feel the same way. And it's connecting then to, if I feel tired now, how am I tired? Am I unmotivated? And what's my end goal? If I don't do it today, what does tomorrow look like? Am I able to, is this okay to be a rest day, or can tomorrow need to be a rest day? And just really thinking about what is the end goal, and and how will it make me feel if I don't do it?
I love that, Kendall. And I love this whole conversation. And having an accountability partner, doesn't have to be in the same business, doesn't have to be in the same anything, but somebody that you can touch base with every couple of weeks and just say, hey, in the next 2 weeks, I want to accomplish this, and this. It doesn't have to be business. It can be go get a pedicure. It can be, whatever it is for you. And then that knowing that, oh my gosh, I got to get on the call with my accountability partner. Where's my checklist? And not because they're in judgment, because I live in a judgment-free zone, just about like, okay, that accountability just to keep you or keep me in check. And not just any accountability partner, because I've gone through quite a few accountability partners that kind of fade away or want to coach and teach and train. And that's not what I need. I need somebody to say, you said you were going to do A, B, C, and D, and not let my excuses get in my way. Because I got some doozies. And, and that accountability person, whoever that is for you, can be really, really helpful.
I agree.
And that accountability partner might be able to give you a different point of view, might be available to help you, give you a different lens. Because I don't think we've talked in any of our episodes about that, but when you change one modality of how you look at it or how you feel about it or how you get in motion or not, or the lack of motion, being still and allowing yourself to be, if you change any of these modalities, the other modalities will follow. And that is such a simple concept that it's hard. Sometimes it might be, it's easy to oversee it, or it's easy to not be reminded about it. So when you have and I'm going to add quality to the accountability partner, when you have a quality accountability partner, right? They will offer some other ways to look at things, some other point of views.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to fire your accountability partner.
I agree. And it's also okay to fire your coach at some point, right? We all grow. It goes back to the episode that we talked about growth and our identity. I think to come back to the beginning of our talk today, it's that awareness of I think I called it a roadblock or a stumbling block. What's the awareness around it? And what can I do about it right now? Rather than just constantly, like you said, Kendall, constantly pushing ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Grace.
And I had a call this morning with our nation, and we talked about being nice to oneself, being nice to yourself as you would, treat yourself as you would treat your team members, treat yourself as you would treat your clients. I mean, if you're treating your team members and your clients nicely, that's kind of a presupposition there. It's an assumption there. But treat yourself with kindness, just like you would treat others with kindness.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And don't just think you have to always do. There is a balance of be, do, have.
Mm-hmm.
I find sometimes as a female, I will push myself, and then I'll go, wait a minute, is anyone going to get hurt if this doesn't get done today? The answer has been no. And then it's, okay. Doesn't get done. It's okay.
I really like that question. Is anyone going to get hurt today? Is it really that most important? Is the world coming to an end?
Yep. I think adding perspective is from that viewpoint is really key, because I think sometimes we can make something a bigger mountain and we think that that's our way to motivate ourselves, which all that does is reinforce that fight or flight. So if you can sit back and go, at the end of the day, is someone going to get hurt by me not doing this, or what is the impact of me not doing this? And if it's pretty small, then let it go. Add it to your next day. And just find that perspective and calmness.
Mm-hmm. Calmness. Mm-hmm.
We can be more creative when we're calm versus in a fight, flight, or fawn. And most everything we do requires some creativity.
So the question is, ask yourself, what can you do to change one modality, change them all? How can you be accountable to yourself? How can you be accountable to others when you have permission? And how can you give yourself some grace? Tune in to the next one.
We appreciate you listening in. Do you have something you would like to chat about with us or maybe chime in on? Contact Amy, Brigitte, Jeannie, Cindy, or Kendall at the email addresses listed on the screen. Or submit a topic you would like for us to discuss by emailing Kendall Rawls at kendall@rawlsgroup.com. We would love your feedback. Thank you to our 5 excellent coaches for sharing insight and perspectives and showing the power of vulnerability. Your Tribe is produced by the Rawls Group Business Succession Planners.